Welcome back, viewers, to DLS Wave. In today's discussion, we're going to bring you an interesting conversation on a topic that is interesting and concerning to many people out there. So, in today's episode, we're going to discuss maternity and paternity leaves. This happens all around the world when a family has a baby. They need to stay home, obviously, to take care of the baby until the baby is up to a certain age before the parents can go back to work. It often happens that the mom has longer days or a longer period than the dad. Now the question we're asking here is it fair for men should have equally longer paternity leave just as their women? That's what we're going to talk about. Let's go into the discussion. Okay, so we're delving right into the discussion. Who would like to bail the cat on this one? I know it's a sensitive issue, but looking left, right. I think we started last time from my right, so today I'm going to start from my left.
Yeah, I honestly, I believe if we live in an age of equality, as we say, women are equal to men, then I think everything should be fair, right? Unless I'm mistaken, unless I'm being biased because I'm a man. Because I remember when we had a kid, me and my wife had a kid, she had about 4 months because this is China. China, you get 4 months of maternity leave. But as men, I only had about 3 days and I had to really fight for it. It wasn't like it came easy. My company was not really like budging. I had to like push and push that, I have to help out with the kid because I don't sleep properly at night, blah, 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 blah. And I was able to what? Make a deal or strike a deal, but that actually came without pay. I was not getting paid for those 3 days that I had as paternity leave. So I think women go through a lot. They go through the most, right? Their bodies, the kids, blah, blah, blah. So they deserve a longer amount of time. But how much is enough for a man? Because I feel like a few days a week, it's not also okay. I think we also contribute, I wouldn't say equally, right? Because it's definitely not going to be equal, but we contribute a good amount of time, energy, and whatnot in terms of like sleep. You get sleep deprived. You don't really sleep as much as when the kid was not. Exactly, right? So waking up, going to work is a little bit difficult. Especially talking about the first few weeks. The woman has to rest, right? She needs to recover from all this trauma, if you will. So the man usually takes
charge
more responsibility because some of us are not as lucky as others. Others have like their in-laws, maybe grandmas and whatnot to offer help. And that's a little bit easier, right? But for us who are just like, couples with the kids, it's a lot harder. So I feel like men need a good amount of time. I cannot really put like, a time limit or period on it, but I feel like we need a good amount of time to also kind of recover, like, based on sleep, based on like, also wives being a little bit more demanding than usual because you have to be on your toes, right? She needed to prepare things that she used to do. So that's my take for now. Right. What do you think?
Okay, let's move on to S.
For me, you have to look at it in 2 different ways. The environment we are coming from, as in the Ghanaian community or the Ghana lifestyle. The modern type of marriage or the modern day marriage in Ghana is shifting to where the responsibility of helping your wife, it's on the man. But if you look at it, the reason why I think it has been like that for years, especially Ghana, I'm focusing on Ghana, is that of the way our family is like. I grew up, and I as much as I can remember, it was my grandma when my mom, because I was told my mom left to nursing training or whatever. My brother was 6 months, I was 4 months when she left. My dad was also a teacher, but then it was my grandma. So back in the day, I don't know why they were not giving men like that, but I think it has to do with the family structure we have back home.
Right.
But with the Western style, it's you and your wife.
Right.
And that is where we have to talk about, okay, yes, you are not the one who got pregnant, you are not the one who carried the baby and blah blah. But then after the baby is delivered, they come home. That is where care is needed.
Right.
Where you have to, as even in some homes, the men take more of the responsibility because they
Right.
have to make sure there is food at home. Anything the lady needs, he has to go for it. The lady just needs to be at home, breastfeed, take care of the baby. But you have to run around and make sure they are safe
And comfortable.
Oh,
Yeah.
you understand? So it depends on where you are looking at it from.
Yeah.
And currently, we are having that kind of, as in, if I say we, Ghana,
Right.
they're changing that family tree thing where you, it's still there.
Yeah.
People do get their parents to come in. So when you go to a Ghanaian boss and say, oh, my wife has given birth to, I want to stay home, you'll go like, don't you have your mom?
Yeah.
So it's a cultural thing that we've lived with, and I think everybody wants to take advantage of something. Yeah. So as a government, they've looked at it and they go like, oh, it's our culture. You understand? And men are supposed to work. They don't use the equality thing here. Men are supposed to work and feed their family. So if your wife is home giving, taking care of the kid, you don't need to be home too.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, I understand you absolutely, like, you know, I mean, the sense in it makes sense, right? I don't know if that makes sense, that the sense in it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
No, the point I'm trying to make is that in this instance, right, you also need the man to be on his what? Top level, like, you know, vibe to
Right.
work and be efficient at work. So if you do not give this man this time out to maybe refocus, re-energize and everything, how
Right.
can he really offer his best at the office? Or whatever the job may be.
Yeah, that is why I said, because it has been ingrained, is it the word?
Ingrained.
Ingrained in us.
Yeah.
From, it's changing now. It's changing. And that is why a lot of companies find it difficult to say, oh, we are giving you that. Because
Right.
that is what they've known.
Right.
You, the man, you always have to come to work. If your wife gives birth, get the mom, the grandmom, or the auntie to help you take care. So what you would do, your responsibility by going shopping, making sure their medicines and whatever run around, your grandmom or your auntie or even your cousin will help to do. So you, the man, still needs to go to work. And I feel, and that is where I agree with you, it needs to change. Because of the way we are going now. People are marrying and it's just them and them.
Yeah, no more like
You
external
understand?
family
No more
members.
extended.
Yeah.
Right.
Your mom will just come and visit every now and then.
Because she also has to take care of
Call
your dad, right?
your dad, yeah. So she'll come in. But back then, so it is an advantage companies have taken, even government have taken, because if you work for a ministry, one of the ministries, I don't think as the man they will give you that number of weeks.
Right.
You understand? So it is, the government has to change because our family structure, what we've known before, is changing.
Right. That was what I wanted to chip in, that many years ago, the family structure was such that the families were closely knit together. So you were living in a family house where you had help from other family members. But nowadays, people want to separate themselves.
Your home and your if
Exactly.
you have a dog, your dog.
Your nuclear family lives separate.
Yeah.
Your parents probably live in a village or something. Because as time goes by, more young families don't want to live with the grandparents anymore. They want to separate themselves. And that comes with all these problems. So I think most of the policies, when they were enacted, started or came from those periods of time in the past. But situations are changing, like you said, and the policies have to change with it, so that their parents can have more time with the kids. But what we are trying to look at here is, should the leave time for parents, both man and woman, husband and wife, should they be the same? Or do you think that the women should still have more time than the women? Should it be
the
fair?
women should have more time than the men. Which I go with the women having more time because you are not the one who carried the baby.
Okay.
As the man.
Right.
And we know I've not given birth, but you can tell what they go through. People don't even come back, from trying to give birth. So with that in mind, if I'll use my human side, I'll give let's say even 4 years or 3 years.
Right.
You understand? But this is where you have to look at it. If the government institutions, have, let's say, 3 years, then private companies should have about 2 years. That is what I would do.
That's what you're suggesting.
That is if I'm
personally,
Nana Akufo-Addo.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
But I'm not.
Right.
So if I have to be fair, if you're a very like one of my best workers, I wouldn't want to lose you for
A long period of time. Right.
You know, so that is there's always a risk involved. You know, but somebody can say I can work from home.
Right.
Yeah, to add up to that, I mean, there's like a very critical example. Like, I have like a friend back home, the same thing, who works for, ironically, like a Chinese company. His wife just had a kid, and he's even planning to quit because it's like the pressure is so excruciating, right? Because you got to go home, help out the wife, you know, bathing the kid, trying to, you know, like you said, run around for the wife because she's been handling the baby all day long, right? Yeah. And now the funny thing also is like we're saying, right, grandmas or, you know, in-laws don't really hang around for a long time.
These days.
They all got, I don't know, they have a lot of farming to do. They have like,
probably other siblings, kids, and things like that. Yeah.
So these are some of the. So I like what you said, but the point is, if you have somebody who is like you're saying very capable, he's got like, you know, good standing in the company. You don't want to lose them for like, you know, a longer amount of time.
Yeah.
But then it's like, can they really give their best if you do not give them that time out? You know, it becomes a big struggle for them between family and work.
Right.
Because in this case, the same people, if they make like huge mistakes at the office, is that acceptable? So to be on their best game, don't they need to kind of get this maternity thing over with, or paternity thing?
My point is, I understand your argument perfectly, and I feel as a family, they need that time,
right,
to be able to take care of for some time, you know. But companies will look at productivity, your input in the company, and as much as you want to work from home, it might not be the same, like somebody will say.
Yeah.
But going back to Ghana, culturally, somebody would just walk to you, but it wasn't you who gave birth.
Yeah.
Why are you worried of taking the just
Yeah.
because of the mentality we have back home that equality is not as what people are wishing for,
right?
Because men are the ones who are supposed to work and feed the family, no matter what. You understand? So go to your work. Why can't you find somebody and pay the person to help your wife do it?
Yeah.
Right.
And continue to work. So there are so many arguments around it, which some of the arguments are fair. Because as much as I would love to be home and take care of my wife and my kid for some time, but at the same time, if it will cost me my work, which some companies do that.
Yeah, I think it's because of lack of regulations back home in Ghana. Because if the government stipulates it,
but we all agree that the problem we have is the law side, as in from the government side,
like policies.
So a company will use the policies of the government to whip you.
Right. So you mentioned something about how much time, the time frame that people should. So what would you think? Maybe it's a good time to chip in. What do you think is ideal time frame for a man, the husband and the wife? Do you think they should have equal time? And if so, how much time? If they should have different
No, I mean,
time
absolutely
frames?
not. That's not even like an argument, right? It's impossible. I think possibly maybe half the time that the woman is going to have. If women have like 6 months, maybe men can have like 3 months.
How long would you give the women?
I would say,
let's say you
I would say
the
9 to 1 year, 9 months to 1 year.
1 year.
So that's
let's say
the same period.
But I think for productivity's sake, like you say, it's not easy to keep a job for somebody for that long.
For that long,
There are thousands of people lining up waiting to take the same position.
Okay.
But I think on a national level,
and the men, sorry.
But the men, So if it's 9 months, maybe men 4 months. If it's a year, men go for 6 months. Because the thing is, like I'm saying, on a national level, how many people can really afford a caretaker, right?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Based on GDP, based on whatever, like,
Your economic situation.
Right? It's very difficult, especially in Ghana. It's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So the average person will try to suck it up. They go to work, they come back, they still hustle through it. Next morning, 6:30, you got to get up, right? You may be working in Accra from Kaswa. It takes a lot of time. So to spend extra money, that's going to be really difficult. But if you look at that period of time, let's say 6 months for the man, 1 year for the woman, at least, I'm not really sure because I'm not a woman, but at least I feel like the woman would have recovered enough to be able to, get up and walk around, move, she's more mobile now, right?
Or even if we can say a specific time, it can be scientific. The scientists know how much time it takes for a woman to fully recover. So, but I think that either way, it's not going to be 3 months or 4 months. You need more time.
You see, there are dangers in that you can say, okay, any doctor that delivers your wife can state the number of years or the number of months.
You know what I'm thinking? Someone's going to get 10 years.
I'm thinking exactly what you got to do is,
it has to be a standard. Yeah, exactly. It has to be a standard across board.
Yeah,
but the reason why I was trying to bring that on board is that, there are after issues.
Yeah. Complications
and so don't you think we have to look at it like, okay, if you're able to deliver and it's safe and sound and according to doctor, but even that, the moment that the doctor thing comes in, there's a question mark.
I think
in exceptional cases they do.
Yes, it should be.
Doctors recommend more rest.
So that is what I'm trying to look at, because if you say a year and the person is still not recovered fully, then it's not fair also.
Yeah, but in that case, you can go to a doctor, you get a recommendation from the doctor, right?
So I think the starting point should be a standard, a policy across.
Okay, so
then when there's a need,
there's a need, then you can go.
But don't you also think that with the standard, companies will stand on and let you go?
Well, it should be part of the policy.
But exactly. So if you go to Europe or even in China, right, there is a clause that will be in the contract that says,
during their maternity
during pregnancy, during maternity, you cannot.
You are looking at it in the Western way.
No, but I think we can do it in Ghana too, because that's the thing. I think as long as the law is being enforced, if a company does that and they get punished for it, we set precedents, we set examples, and other companies will shy away from doing that.
And if they get punished for it, it is underlined in capital letters. If they get I totally agree, but I'm just trying to give you a certain picture, because it's the same way a family would also see a doctor, a doctor they know, and we all know doctors, a doctor. Yes, so we should. I go with the standard thing you're talking about. 1 year, unless exceptional case. I think it's okay. But I think the men should just get
All right, that will lead us to
4 months.
No, I just wanted to hear his point on the men getting 4 months.
No, 4 months to 5 months is okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because I feel like it's not really about the men, right? Partly it's about, but it's more about the woman being able to recover enough, for the man to be able to leave, and the woman will be, like I said, mobile to be able to.
I'm just looking at the competition of losing
losing your job,
getting a job.
That's the next question I was coming to.
That is why I was saying 4 to 3 months.
What do you think are some of the reasons? What are some of the reasons why governments or companies don't give longer? Because I know there are few countries that give longer maternity and paternity leaves, but majority of countries have very few months or weeks for
the competition for jobs. Competition for jobs.
Could it also be that the companies think that if maybe, let's say, that staff in question is someone who cannot be lost. In other words, they cannot afford to have that person absent from work. Maybe you have a rare skill and they can't let you out for 6 months.
It has to do with your quality at work. You understand? That is why a company would sacrifice maybe a 5 months and even let you go for 5 months if they really rate you highly. But and this is my principle in life, everybody is replaceable.
Yeah.
Most of the time, about 80-90%. So if a company sits and calculate, okay, if I let him go, if I was the boss, him going will be easy for me.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
But let's say your company looks at you and like, no, if I let him go with his ideas and whatever, it will cost me more
In the long term.
Although you might not know the one you are bringing in might be better, but it's just a risk involved.
Yeah.
I would say, okay, I'll give him the 4 months or the 5 months he's asking for.
Yeah.
But if I look at you and you're just a normal.
Yeah, you don't contribute much.
You don't
You're just
contribute
like a
much.
support
Your
worker.
position, somebody else can replace you, and it will not really affect productivity.
We already want to get rid of it.
Then
what was the question again?
The question was, why do you think governments or companies are not giving this long leave to people?
Well, I mean, I think when it comes down to Ghana, like you said, we can always kind of like relate because that's where we're from.
Yeah.
I think it's just we suck at making decisions and enforcing them.
just use the word enforce. Forget about the decision.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you talk about
We are good at making decisions.
We are good
but
at making
enforcing is a
decisions.
problem.
We don't enforce anything.
yeah, but even our decisions are
I think our constitution is one of the best in the world.
No, but our decisions
Yeah.
it takes too long to make because of like, you know, this
Democratic
They
like,
only enforce
red
the
tape
law.
and
They
everything
only
we have to
enforce
go
the
through.
law when it's against somebody in power.
Yeah.
Or
Right.
a powerful person, as we call it.
Or the law gets enforced for a month and it's thrown out the window.
Exactly.
So when you say, that's why I'm listening, because when you say why is it difficult for countries or companies, I think it's not difficult for countries. It's difficult from where we come from.
Yes. It's extremely
Because
difficult.
it's implemented all over Europe, all over the States, and people are making it work. Because at the end, you cannot please all the citizenry, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, some people might think, oh, they need more time. Other people might think,
Right.
oh, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Right.
So it's all about like, you know, I think on the national or federal level, if the government kind of like come up with the policy,
Right.
it's implemented, it's enforced, the companies have to abide by those policies.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you're replaceable, irreplaceable, like you're saying, you could be like, you know, the top dog in the company, but you are entitled to this.
Right.
This is what the law says.
Right.
So it's up to the company to find a way, because usually you give them heads up, right? The company knows in advance. I mean, your wife has been pregnant for 9 months.
Yeah. Right.
So they start looking for,
Right.
you know, equally capable like participants. Or
So
candidates.
what if the person is not my wife but my girlfriend, but we are not married?
I don't think you
But that doesn't apply.
Yeah.
Okay.
The standard
That's why
should
it's
be
called,
married.
that's why
You
it's,
should
that's
prove
why
that
it's
you are married.
paternity or maternity.
And also, let's look at there are certain countries that have this work policy where
Hold on a second with your question. I want to ask this. So, let's say she's my girlfriend, pregnant, a month before she gave birth. We got married.
A month before. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the policy should be at the time you gave birth, you were married.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it doesn't matter if it was a day before
Yeah.
you gave birth.
Okay.
Yes.
As long as
you
you
should
married.
just
Alright,
prove the
alright.
documents
Yeah.
that
Alright.
you have. Otherwise, people are going to take advantage of it.
Okay.
And I was about to say that there are certain countries I know for sure, like Canada, Sweden, and other countries. When you, or most European countries, when someone takes a maternity or paternity leave, they usually give their position to a temporary worker to take over. So sometimes you see job adverts in the right for paternity for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. It means when the person returns, a substantial occupant of that position, when they return, you have to leave. Or if the company thinks there's a place they can put you, they will put you, the temporary worker. And I think that this also helps to create jobs, because people can have interim jobs here and there, just taking over and filling in for people who are on paternity. That also helps to create jobs. You know, back when we always say in Africa, we want to create jobs, but we don't think about some of these things. But these can also play a role as avenues for creating
of course.
jobs.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, because
Yeah.
like you said, at the end of the day, I mean, it's not like men are weak, but I feel like definitely it's gonna have an impact on your, like, you know, on your psyche, on your energy levels and
Right.
everything. So I feel
Yeah.
like to be able to do your best,
Yeah.
you need that break to kind of rejuvenate and come back to work. So like I say, you need to get like a temp, right? Somebody temporary to take that part.
Right.
And that is also doing, like you're saying, it's helping that person make a good amount of money or like, earn something for that time period.
Yeah.
And the best part is if this guy or like, I don't know, it could be intern, whatever, if they do a great job, it would be amazing to pretty much fit them into somewhere into the company, right?
Yeah.
You can reassign.
So you don't have to go through another recruitment process and all that.
Right, but this is the case that we keep saying when it's all about like saying economical, like diversity and dynamics, because we don't have that kind of system that can absorb that amount of like the populace.
Right.
So it becomes a problem having to implement all these policies.
It goes back to the question you asked him earlier. Why does companies don't give
that
much time?
Right.
And I'm thinking, I go with the two things you said, or the first thing you said, and I also go with lack of other like jobs. We don't have a lot of jobs back home.
Right.
So one position they're about.
I mean, only God knows.
You know the number, and even you know the reason why you didn't get that job, or you know the reason why you got that job.
Right.
Sometimes you don't necessarily, quote unquote, qualify, but you got it.
Through some back check.
Yes, but you qualify because I know him.
Yeah.
It was a recommendation and all that.
Right.
So when I'm the MD and I know you didn't even qualify to get this position.
Yeah.
It was a favor or something. It's like, man, come on.
Right.
So when I tell you that, you start to think, you're like, man, okay. Can you give me some 2 weeks? Let me go and sort one or two things out and come back.
But Steve, I think we're asking the wrong question, because if you say why aren't companies doing it? Because companies are out to make a profit. So they would love to keep you working like a dog all year long, right? They have no interest in you taking time off for you. They lose. Bringing another person, especially if your leave is supposed to be paid leave.
Right.
It's almost like they lose in double.
And especially they also know the system. They know the system that would not support you.
So I think it should be from a national level.
The system don't support you, so the companies take advantage.
National policy, then every company.
But with the question at hand, I feel like yes, most definitely men need to get paternity leaves a bit longer, because it's not an easy transition.
Exactly. And then we often, like you said in the beginning, it's often the notion that it's only the woman that needs more time to recover, but physically, biologically.
Give the women 1 year, even a year and a half, even 2 years.
Some countries do that, which is very generous.
It's okay. I'm fine with because I'm not the one who carried the pregnancy. But for me to be able to support her, because there was a reason why I spent so much to bring her to my home. So to prove to her that it is not because I just want a statue, but I want somebody I can love, care for when she's not that healthy, if I have to put it that way. Then I need time. I need that time from work to support. And 4 months, 5 months, even 6 months. 1 month, the last 1 month is for me doing my job and drinking beer.
But that's what I'm saying, that this guy that I'm referring to, this is because I think he had the opportunity to take it, but it was without pay. And he was not willing to risk it.
I mean, especially with a baby.
With a brand new kid, you actually need the funds. You need more money to actually support the kid and the wife. So this is the problem, right? Some companies make it look like we're going to offer it to you, but no pay. And then you kind of stuck in a rut, right? You just don't know what to do.
All right, let's take this a little further. I just want to look. So far we're kind of agreeing that both parents need more time at home with a kid. Let's look at it this way. Some people, when they are out of work for a long time, they lack interests going back to they get rusty, or they lack the interest in going back. Now, if in that case, if someone, after being given the leave for a long period of time, and they suddenly turn around and say, okay, I feel like I got used to working at home, or I feel like I don't have I'm no more in that
the zeal
to go back to work. Is this
enthusiasm?
How do we solve this? Is it fair to the companies?
Let me also add it to it. Maybe during that leave, the time, you find a better opportunity. people will find an excuse, give to the company, and stop work, which will go against the company, because most companies, because of what we are, most companies value you. If they value you that much, they will be willing to give you a couple of months.
Right.
You understand? But some of our people would also take advantage. So how can you handle this?
What's your opinion on that?
All right, that makes sense if you look at it from an angle of business, right? But what we have to consider is like businesses, companies do not give a shit about you.
Yeah.
I mean, pardon my French.
Like I said, we're all replaceable.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. I was about to say that you said it from the get-go. We are replaceable, right? If you pass out tomorrow, you die tomorrow. I'm not even gonna say in a week, less than a week, you'll be replaced, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody doesn't have the zeal, the enthusiasm, or whatever, something manifests, right, during their leave period, and they do not want to return, it's absolutely their prerogative. Right? Because this is life, right? People will switch things around, you rearrange, you reorganize your life. So I think it's perfectly fine.
And the companies also can read between the lines.
No,
that is why
I think if your company is treating you well, they're treating you properly, you will be dying to go back to the same company.
But it depends on the offer you get.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sometimes
some people don't even think about the offer, right? If your company is treating you right,
if you're comfortable with that place, then you go.
If it's not just about the money, right? If maybe your leave period is okay, your boss treats you right, you've had a baby, they send you a little gift basket and stuff like that.
Right.
You have
They show you the real love.
You have a sense of loyalty to go back to them. Right? It doesn't matter the offer anybody.
Your conscience will blame you when you want to switch. Yeah.
So I think it's more about the relationship between you and your company, right?
Yeah, I mean,
if let's say another company offers you 3 times what you're going to earn, more opportunities and stuff.
I think, but I think even in that case where you can't help it, you still have to be nice and matured about it. Because like you just need to be honest and say, okay, with the baby, I need more money. This offer. If you my current company, if you're willing to do something better, I'm willing to stay. But the honest truth is, I'll need this and that.
And also the person in question would definitely give them like a heads up ahead of time in advance.
Right.
I think only people who kind of like detest their companies would just out of the blue like, you know what I mean, right?
If it's already
the relationship,
they can't even wait.
If it's a Bumble Club company, you already want
Bumble Club company. You want to, okay, my wife has given birth, give me the man, and then they take the 3 months or the 4 months when it's about to end,
and they're deducting money. They're like,
you take their money and tell them bye bye.
And the person will only do that when they're being like mistreated.
And that is why I think, although the laws are not being enforced in Ghana when it comes to those things, a lot of companies too look at this, they read between the lines and they go like, no, maybe this guy wants to leave, so let him go home for 6 months.
Let's help him to leave.
I will not pay you. You go if you want to. It is because you're looking for a different opportunity elsewhere, but it shouldn't be the reason.
Right?
You understand? I think where we come from, there are a lot we need to change, especially enforcing laws.
Right. That's the biggest problem. Yeah. So we can, like we often say, the government often comes up with brilliant policies, but the implementation is usually the problem area. So guys, as you can see, it looks like we are agreeing and disagreeing on different aspects of this topic.
But generally,
there's a consensus that not just the men, but the women as well. And the loud idea here is if the women are getting, say, a year, the men should get at least 6 months.
Yeah, at least half of that same period.
Because although we know it's the women who go through it the most, the men also go through it because you have all these sleepless nights, you have to do a bit more at home. And that also affects...
Not really a bit more, a lot.
Yeah, that also affects...
On top of that, you have to go to work.
Exactly. It affects your productivity as work and all that. So I think that government should take a look at this. So because if it's left to individual companies, like we said, it's economic, they want to make profit, so... they will just keep making it harder. But if it's a government blanket policy, then every company has to follow it. All right, guys, so that's the end of the discussion. Thank you so much for sticking around. We're really grateful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. The like helps this video travel a lot to other people, and share it to your friends and family. Thank you once again. Signing out from here, DLS Wave. Peace out.